Alright, replay here from RTK's Menacing Platypus versus BBB's Strat game. Vampire Coast versus Bretonnia. A divisive matchup. Some people, me, think it's not that bad for Bretonnia. I think it's workable. It's kind of favored for the Coast, and some people think it's unwinnable for the Coast. And to those people, I call you a liar! Alright, for the Vampire Coast, you have a front line of polearm deckhand mobs, then the back line, 2 depth guard with polearms. Looks like we have 4 pistol mobs, triple bomber mob, Lamper's Revenge, Rotting Promethean ROR, triple animated Hulk, and Celostra on foot with her Damned Knights Errant summon, Crab summon, and Tide Call. I've been really souring on Tide Call. I used to think it was an okay spell, not great, and now I think it's a trash spell. On the other side, we have Knights of the Realm, Knights of the Realm, Knights of the Realm. So 3 Knights of the Realm, 1 Pegasus Knight in case of bomber and or handgun bats. And we have Men-at-Arms with pole arms mixed in with peasants. A Grail Relic, Gotrek, the Fey Enchantress, Enri Le Massif, and the Fey Enchantress has Dwellers Below and Earthblood, plus some archers with fire arrows and pox arrows mixed throughout. Okay. As Bretonnia sets up the flank, they're also just happy to shoot with their archers for a bit. And they are closing their jaws around the Vampire Coast. Now, the back line is where most of their ranged assets are, so you could get some good charges in here and do decent damage. Though cav charges are very hit and miss on patch 3.0 at the moment. Sometimes do a lot of damage, especially in the wedge formation, but there are other times where they just fall flat for literally no reason, so don't really know which one we're going to get. You can see Heroes 1 Knight gets way ahead of his cohort. He gets a decent charge in, but they do negative damage, which is very cool. And then the next charge, and they do negative damage, which is also pretty cool. So that's not the start they wanted, unfortunately for them. Bomber mobs are dealing with some peasants right now, but they're currently getting shot by archers. And what is happening back here? Henry, Gotrek, and the Fey Enchantress all catch Celostra out, dealing about 2/3 of her HP already, and she needs to get out of here. There's no healing on the roster for her at this moment. There's no Vampire Cast or anything. The Bretonnian Knights on the backfield are pushed off by the Animated Hulks and Depth Guard. But yeah, Celostra has to run for the hills. Gotrek is caught up in a summon of crabs, which is pretty good for her. But still, she's being chased by the Fey Enchantress and Henry. Big Dwellers Below is going to catch 2.5-ish zombie units. The Grail Relic is the only thing holding them in this place, making them a pretty effective blob for that Dwellers Below to take them mostly out. And Henry will now get intercepted by the Rotting Promethean Zara. No, he's still just chasing Celostra all on his own. He is unfortunately doing that thing where he runs next to her rather than actually attacking her, though. So that is very unfortunate for the Platypus. Bretonnian Knights on the backfield stayed safe. They got away from their pursuers, and now these Depth Guard are just out of position, trying to get back into the fight. Just trying to get back in there. Men-at-Arms, polearms fighting against the zombie deckhand mobs with polearms, and Celostra is throwing out all of her summons in the center here. Along with the Damned Knights Errant, who are probably going to countercharge their living brethren with a nice little rear charge here. 100% armor piercing since they are ghosts. Yeah, it's going to do decent damage versus those Knights of the Realm. Pegasus Knights flying away. It looks like they just got committed to the front line to try and stop some bombers and such, but they took a lot of punishment for their efforts. Enri Le Massif is currently getting gooned out by the Animated Hulks and the Lamper's Revenge. He's down to about half HP. And a Tide Call. Hit some peasant bowmen, did okay damage, not a ton. And Henry is back after Celostra. The Knights of Bretonnia now taking a lot more punishment on the backline, especially these Ethereal Knights able to push them back. More Knights of the Realm plow in, only to be met with Animated Hulks and polearms. They are not going to have the best time as Gotrek goes absolutely apeshit on the Lamper's Revenge, doing really good damage to them. And Celostra has yet again avoided Henry Le Massif, who gets beat up by some Animated Hulks. On the backfield, we have Depth Guard with polearms, tasked chasing off all of these peasants. That's a very expensive unit to do it, but someone's got to chase all those guys off, or they are going to come back. There's no Scurvy Dogs left to do the job for them, unfortunately. More zombie pirate deckhand mobs with polearms chasing peasant mobs. Those guys want to come back. I bet they're just out of sight, out of mind for the players, unfortunately. Depth Guard and Animated Hulk still wandering around. Lamper's Revenge are here, but Gotrek is beating the shit out of them tirelessly, as he do. These 2 pistol mobs are not summons. They are real, and they are still firing in, so good for them. On the backfield, the Bretonnian Knights have been soundly destroyed, and more Depth Guard are coming back. More Animated Hulks are returning as well. Celostra even gets out a little bit of a Tide Call onto those Men-at-Arms, and she is opting back into the fight. She probably wants to just stay safe from this juncture. Depth guard still chasing. How close are these peasants to the edge of the map? Very close. And then those guys can come back because I'm pirate deckhand mobs. Don't know where these guys are going. Oh, they're chasing those archers. Okay. Henry is fighting Silastra. Ooh, ow, ow, ow. A Chalice of Potions nukes her own peasants, but also does a lot of damage to the depth guard. And I'm not sure if I just unplugged my microphones. Something horrible may have happened. I guess we'll figure out in post. I might have to re-record this one. Oops. Anyway, Knights of the Realm get a side charge onto these pistol mobs. Silastra is committed to the fight yet again, but Gotrek is next to her. Does Gotrek have magic damage? Yes, he does, so she wants nothing to do with him. I don't know if she'll be able to get away, though. Fey Enchantress is healing up the area. Gotrek is actually hard pathing after something else, so he's not after Silastra, which could be a mistake. Yeah, she throws a crab summon down. She'll get out of here. Depth guard in the distance, full HP, do need to return to the fight. Animated Hulks running away from these men-at-arms polearms. They will get run down by Knights of the Realm, though. Their anti-large should do pretty well against these guys out in open field. And instead of getting rear charged, the Animated Hulks just decide to at least get some damage out before they die. That is a fair assumption. Henry Le Massif is pushed off by more depth guard in the Animated Hulks, and the third depth guard is rejoining the fight versus Gotrek and the Fey. Silastra is alive. That's all you can really ask from her at this point. But that full health depth guard being so far out of the fight is going to be a problem eventually. Pistol mobs try to deal with the Knights of the Realm. The Knights of the Realm are going to complete their charge onto Silastra. Get a little bit of poke damage onto her despite her physical resist. She is just a little ghost lady after all. And they are big armored knights. Lamprey's Revenge continue to regenerate up all on their own as they fight Fey-empowered Knights of the Realm with 72 melee attack plus some bonus versus large. That does not give them any additional armor piercing, making the crabs rather hard to deal with. Bit more of a bump and grind. Henry Le Massif, -4 leadership and 32 HP. He does rally, oh my god. Okay. He's down to 0. Does he rout? No, his flanks are secure. He's back. He's fine. He's chilling. Sloth's just trying to rout off these knights, try to avoid Gotrek as well, as the Animated Hulks attempt to attack him, but instead just end up walking side by side with him, hand in hand. How are our depth guard doing? We have 2 full health depth guards still on the map, but neither of them are really involved in the fight. Silastra is retreating behind her final depth guard. She's going to get away for now. She needs to stay out of the Fae's draining aura, though, just because she's so low in health. But if she really gets drained by anything else, she'll die. Nice Tide Call to 0 damage. I hate that spell, but it was a good cast of it. And the Fae is just gonna go finish off Silastra. That's her job right now. She's on horseback. She can catch her pretty easily. And boop. Crumbling plus the Fae's Mortis Engine should finish her off from this point, but the Fae actually lands a hit and finishes her off all on her own. Knights of the Realm running around. Lamprey's Revenge. Regen barely keeping them alive, but they are really close to that disintegrating point where they'll just get taken out outright. They are finishing off the last archer that is on the map. They rout them before dying and shatter them too. That is pretty huge for the forces of the coast. Depth guard are back. Depth guard are fighting. Can they grind through all that's left? There's 2 depth guard versus the world at this point. A rear charge from the Knights of the Realm does a little bit of damage. Gotrek and the Fae do the rest. Big dwellers below. It does not do friendly fire damage, so it only hits those depth guard. The other depth guard walk in. A little bit of the dwellers below still going. And now we have a Chalice of Potions coming in for them. Hits them right on the back, doing massive damage and takes them down to near army loss potential. Zombie deckhand mobs with polearms is trying to rejoin the fight, but they're just too far away at this juncture. And the Fae with healing and Mortis Engine and Gotrek, she will be just fine to close this out, I believe. Alright, let's see if the recording got fucked up. Because something beneath my desk got snagged, and I thought I heard my mic unplug. And sometimes if it unplugs and replugs, it gets fucked up. 3,700 on the Fey Enchantress, 1,300 on Gotrek. The Knights of Bretonnia really didn't get a lot of value, and Ree did not get a lot of value, so it was mostly the Fey and Gotrek. Actually, it was mostly just the Fey, to be honest. Jesus Christ. Some archers helped out, too. Silastra did pretty good for being on foot. I think she actually paid for herself there. Crabs did alright. Depth Guard, they were a good unit. They just got really separated out from the fight, unfortunately. Animated Hulks did well. Bombers did okay. Polearm mobs did fine. Pistol mobs did really well. GG. Roar. Subscribe, yes, yes.